Red pillers are complete hypocrites. They feel so emboldened to the point where they go on podcasts and say how much they don't like women who get cosmetic surgeries or do any sort of beauty enhancements. They're doing that in hopes of eliciting a certain response from women.
I mean, I've said this before. My stance on it is, so take even a girl who, you said you had, what, A? What,
double A.
Is that, what is that? Is that
like,
just
very small.
flat?
It's like negative
Basically
A.
flat. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
I would prefer a girl flat like that versus her with fake tits.
Really?
Okay.
So I would prefer you as you were.
That's so boring. What are you going to grab then?
He's saying that
I'm an ass man.
I'm
an ass
he's an
man.
ass man. He's saying he's an ass man.
I'm an ass man.
What if she has no ass
Let's
and
be.
no tits?
Then what about, hold on,
There's
hold
more
on.
important things than.
Yeah, but what if
there's
she's
more
the perfect
important
girl and
things.
then you could also pick with
Yeah,
ass
there's
and
more
tits?
important
Wait,
things. Like I said.
would you support a BBL? Because BBL is technically not plastic.
Nope.
BBL is
It's
absolutely
using your own
plastic.
fat.
Yeah, but
okay,
that's still
but
considered a plastic
it's within
cosmetic
the realm
surgery.
of plastic
Yeah,
surgery.
okay.
It's not
Body
it's
modification.
not an
Yeah.
implant, although some women do get butt implants.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
Yes.
Yeah, so whether it's a BBL or it's a butt implant, I think it looks terrible.
Okay.
It looks so. To double down on it, I'd prefer a girl who's got a flat butt than a BBL or
What if like flat everywhere?
I mean, I'll
dating a chopstick
for
brand.
example. No, but
In this sense, it just means that like appearance doesn't matter. You know what I mean? According to you.
well,
yeah.
look, don't get me wrong. Like,
No, he wants a woman to be attractive. And
Oh, I
sometimes
meant like
curvy
the
is
curves.
attractive.
Of
no, but
the lady
there's
doesn't
there's
value
never
her,
there's
you know?
never an
Like-
instance, for example, where if I met a girl, whatever her origin point was, whatever her starting point was, that I would prefer her. I don't care how flat her boobs are. I don't care how small her butt is. That I would prefer her with a cosmetic enhancement of fake tits or a BBL or lip injections or I don't know what other things women do.
Okay.
Oh, here's another one:
Yeah.
liposuction. I would actually prefer a girl with a little bit of belly fat than having that lipo belly. I've seen it. It looks weird.
So,
no offense to anybody.
okay, so my question to you is, what if you're dating this girl and she's like, babe, married. I just really want to get my boobs done. I like want them so bad. Like, da 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 da.
Why? We're already.
Then what?
What do you mean?
But what if, like,
But
She's
it's
already
for
got
myself,
me.
Babe. Like, it's for
So,
myself.
but, like,
No,
what
She's
if
already
it's
got me.
Oh,
confidence
she wants
level?
to get it done
She
for
wants
herself.
Yeah,
So
so
then
she
you
wants to
feel more
comfort you.
confident.
I would lead her to
Not getting
not
it?
getting that. I would say, look, you don't. I would try to coach her to just be comfortable with her appearance.
But what if at the end of the day she still is like, this is going to make you more
research.
So
confident?
you would you like support her if she wanted to?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
No.
Ultimately, it's her
reassured enough,
decision. So
What if you're
Yeah,
like,
it's her body.
let's say you're just.
I can't imagine. I feel like the women I date tend to not be particularly vain. So why would she?
Yeah, but hypothetically, what if she?
Are
what
you
if she
calling me
wins?
vain,
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah,
Well,
also
I mean, there
vain.
is-
For having tits?
Well, there
Nice
is
one, too.
there is a degree of there's degrees to vanity, but I mean, I think if you are compelled to get plastic surgery, you're doing it for aesthetic and cosmetic reasons. I mean, there is a component of vanity to it.
But it's like dyeing your hair is the same thing.
What's that?
Dyeing your hair is the same thing.
Yeah, it's a
Somebody
vanity thing,
like
sure.
literally said piercings and stuff like that. So is that a no-no for you?
What do you mean? What's a no
Because
for me?
so like a woman changing her hair color or wearing extensions or having an ear piercing and stuff like that because she's doing it for the aesthetics. Like it's technically vanity. So how would you feel about that?
Okay, well, we can talk. For example, we can start with makeup. I actually prefer women to wear little makeup or no makeup, even.
For sure.
In the same, like just with the same with my other answers. Give me a woman who's got a full face of makeup versus no makeup. Even if you could argue that she's more physically attractive wearing the makeup, I would prefer the truth. I would prefer reality. And I
Do you think girls who wear makeup are lying?
I think to some degree, yes, it is a lie.
Now, that's all fine and well. I don't have a problem with you having your preferences. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that is bullshit, especially coming from a man like this guy who spends all of his days surrounded by women who have plastic surgery, all the enhancements, wear all the makeup, everything. But he wants us to believe that he doesn't care about that stuff. Reason why men like this do this, though, is because they think it'll gain them access to these women. And if you peep the women's reactions, it was kind of proving his point because they were like, oh, he just wants a girl that's pretty on the inside. They were calling the women girls, but he just wants a pretty girl. He wants a pretty woman. He doesn't. They were eating that shit up to some extent because it does naturally disarm a person in these circumstances. It would disarm the women because they don't think that he is with them simply for their looks. The same way if a woman who was trying to be with a guy simply because of his money may say something like, I don't care how much money you make. I want you for you. It's the same approach, but everybody knows in this particular case, it's bullshit. If you saw a woman and every single man she dated was a multimillionaire, or every single man she dated made a certain amount of money, or beyond that, lived a certain lifestyle, you would assume that was actually her type. You would assume that she was targeting men specifically who made this much money, who lived this certain type of lifestyle, right? Or if that woman is surrounded by those men constantly, again, you would assume that that is the group of men that they are interested in. Why would that be any different for a man like him? You are surrounded by women who have this aesthetic that you claim to not like. Like, you bring them on your show. You have access to these women, but you don't like them? Stop lying. But the only reason why I bring this man up, and he is the example that I'm using right now, is because these red pillars who are essentially right-wingers, they all love Daddy Trump and they love Uncle Elon. And I just find it so hypocritical how none of them say anything about Elon Musk having all of this cosmetic surgery, doing all of these enhancements. Same thing with Trump, but definitely with Elon. They don't say anything about Uncle Elon. They love Uncle Elon. They don't judge Uncle Elon. They don't say anything about any man that gets any cosmetic or plastic surgery or does any type of enhancements, even if it's something as, as common as, a Turkish hair transplant. This is what Elon looked like at one point in time. They blocked this out of their memory. This was in the 90s. This wasn't that long ago. This was around the time he was working, building PayPal, right? He pretty much looked the same in the early 2000s and in the late 90s. This guy was clearly struggling with his looks and his confidence, clearly. And before you try to lie and say, "Oh, I don't believe it. I don't know about that. I didn't know." You can't say that anymore, because after you see this, then you'll know.
Grow and get a better long-term result. So what do we think Elon has done to his hair? So again, we're seeing some photos of him, sometime in the mid to late 2000s, we see that his thinning hair suddenly gets thicker. And like everything else doesn't just happen on its own, right? Could he have been doing some of the other injections? Possibly. They become more popular recently. But back then, the most popular technique was called the FUT hair transplant. What that is a follicular unit transplant. And that was an older technique where they took a strip of hair out from the back here, and there was a scar across the back of the head. Then that strip of hair was taken and chopped into individual little grafts that were then grafted into the
That's the one Jamie Foxx has.
Front of the hair, or wherever balding was. And I think it's interesting. We do see interviews of Elon where he's filmed from behind, and you can see that scar in the back of his head. So he most likely had an FUT, older technique transplant at that point, and probably several thousand grafts. And it looked natural, it looked nice. And the good thing is, like I said, he didn't overdo it. He kind of did enough that he got some of his hair back. So I think, although it wasn't completely done yet, I think he definitely moved in the right direction. Then I think it's suspicious a little more recently that his hair got even thicker. Now he could again been doing those injections, help thickening up the hair, but I think it's suspicious that he probably underwent a second hair transplant, which again is common. Do the first one, look better, do a second one, gradually increase the hair. So again, I think most likely he went under a second one because his hair is noticeably fuller after that first transplant. And then secondly, I bet you he probably is doing some of these maintenance things, probably doing some PRP injections, possibly some exosome or stem cell injections, because again, it not only can rejuvenate the scalp and the hair without surgery, it can also enhance the results of that surgery pre and post-operatively. So he's probably doing some of that as well.
Elon Musk is going to burn America to the ground because nobody thought he was funny.
Yeah.
Because nobody laughed.
And because he needed surgeries to look handsome adjacent if you're not wearing your glasses and it's foggy. You know how many surgeries he's had to look like a 5? This guy, he's going to ruin democracy because he was born a 3, and then he put millions of dollars into becoming a 5.
3.
He's a born 3 with dreams and delusions of being an 8. He doesn't. He knows deep down. He knows deep down he's not getting to 10. So we've got a born 3 dreaming of 8, landing at 5. And he's got an army of 2s that we're calling Doge. And now we don't get to have democracy anymore.
Yeah.
I do notice some other changes in his face, and some things have been pointed out to me. And looking at his photos, it does to me appear that his jawline has got significantly stronger. Now, weight loss and some other things can define your jawline, but we're looking at his jawline from his earlier photos. It definitely has a stronger chin, and I think that things to be suspicious there are chin implant or jawline filler, things like that. And he definitely has the means and finances to do it, and it looks good. So I think again, if he is doing that, it's done right. So I think the overall look for him is definitely more leading man, more handsome, younger, vital. So I think all of these things for him is a move in the right direction. So good for him, good for Elon. He's very smart and very successful, and it appears that he's using his intellect to make himself look better and not worse. That's the exact right way to do plastic surgeries.
Now, all I'm saying is keep the same energy, Red Pillars. You guys come after women every single day about wearing makeup, getting breast augmentation, BBLs, whatever it is, whatever a woman does to enhance her beauty, it's a problem. But Uncle Elon gets to walk around here with a plastic chin and Ken doll hair in his head and you guys are perfectly fine. He is the king of all kings in your mind. He is King Incel that broke out the cellar because he got wealthy. Now he has 13 kids all around the globe with 17 baby mothers who he hates all of them equally and doesn't provide for any of the children, even though he makes a godzillion dollars a day. All I want you guys to do is to keep the same energy or not. Let it go. Stop talking shit about women every day and stop lying. You don't care about a woman wearing makeup. You don't care. You don't care about a woman wearing a weave. You don't care. You're counting down the days until your hairline recedes to the point and you save up enough money where you can fly over to Turkey and get your first hair transplant. You don't care. That is not what it's about. This has always been about you guys trying to weasel your way in to a woman by saying, oh, you know, your looks, the thing that I care about the most, the thing that I'm most obsessed with, because we all know that incels think that the only reason why they're not having access to women is because of their looks. You're telling me that those people all of a sudden care about a woman having makeup and looking natural? It doesn't make any sense. We all know that that's not the case. You guys need to give it up.